Welcome to the second episode of this podcast. Today is Wednesday, December 9th, 2019. This is Pedro Bonatto. I'm a photographer and musician, and yesterday I did the first recording for this new podcast, this new daily, sort of like a diary of activities and thoughts. And I listened to it, and I must apologize for being so out of breath. Oh my God. Yeah, well, if you bared with me on that pilot episode, I thank you. And I promise I will not jump out of the gym right away, all destroyed, and start talking. I'll take a few minutes just to catch my breath and maybe get a different route that doesn't involve little hills and mountains. So, yesterday I mentioned that I was thinking of calling this podcast Walk With Me. However, with my little Google search from yesterday, I discovered that there are at least two podcasts with that same name. One is even a religious podcast, so I will try to get away from that. And before going to sleep, I was brainstorming some names, and I'm thinking of calling it Creative Walks. Kind of presumptuous depending on the content that I'm able to create, but I digress. What I wanted to talk today about is something that I literally just talked to my wife about. That is an understanding of a 2-minute video that has millions and millions of views on YouTube, and I highly recommend you go check it out. It's sort of like a motivational video, but it really hits home to me and to a bunch of people. So it's from this former SEAL and now author and entrepreneur called Jocko Willink. I first learned about him from Tim Ferriss's podcast, and then I started following his stuff. And he is a quite interesting guy. And this specific video is called Good. So if you search Jocko Willink Good to be the first thing that pops up, and I'll make sure to put a link on the show notes about this video. It's a 2-minute video, him reading this text. It is edited beautifully, the visuals and the music and everything they did. I think it's Echo Charles, the videographer that did it, so shout out to him. And it's basically how you should consider as a good thing when bad things are happening. He talked about it succinctly in 2 minutes, so go ahead and listen to that. But basically the idea is you should embrace all those bad things that are happening and convert them into fuel to get back on track. Particularly, there was one phrase that he said that never really sat right with me. At least I couldn't understand it properly. Maybe I still don't. But now I have at least a little bit of a different understanding of it. And I think it's very useful. He was saying that whenever you have a problem, you have the opportunity to find a solution. At first, there's so many other interesting things that he says in the video that this one sort of like fell through the wayside for me. But I thought it was such a powerful way of seeing it, because you're seeing problems as an opportunity to find a solution. Meaning, if you haven't gone through that problem, maybe you would not be able to find that solution because you haven't encountered it. And I was thinking about this as an artist. When you encounter especially personal problems of, and we all have it, like, I'm not good enough, I haven't trained enough, or my work sucks, or didn't take all the opportunities that were given to me, or whatever the situation is. When you consider the solution to it as not a burden, in the sense of like, damn, if I haven't done this or that, I wouldn't be in this situation. But okay, you've done it, or it happened to you. So what will you do about it now can be seen as a passive attack, or like, oh damn, now I have to deal with this thing. Or you can say, oh, interesting. This situation has given me the opportunity to move forward. And when you see a solution to a problem, you usually think of like if you had a bank account and you had 100 units of something and then you lost it and now you have to make up for it. So basically you would be back to zero. But I don't think you're back to zero, because having found the solution even to a problem that shouldn't have existed in the first place, at least in first sight, at least as a hope. If you focus, and that's what I'm trying to do, on the idea that, okay, I am in this situation, so now I have the opportunity to find a solution, how that can change your mindset to attack that problem. Also, we always find a little bit of tragedy and a little bit embarrassing when we are in specific situations that we know better. But if we see it from a future point of view, as a reverse perspective, what would happen if I have solved this successfully? You not only would have had that problem solved, but you would be able to, in principle, help other people that have committed the same mistake. And that is a positivity multiplier, in my opinion. Again, I'm not trying to give advice. I know very little about the world and how it works. I think that's why I'm calling this sort of like this creative walks, is trying to express things that are on my radar or are influencing me. And hopefully it will bring to you some food for thought. If anything, you should definitely check out Jocko's video. Don't let his appearance dissuade you. He is like tough guy, super big, muscular, sounding like this, but he has a lot of wisdom in a very gentle and compassionate way. So I suggest you go take a look. And that's it for today. I hope you find it as interesting. This podcast should be up as soon as iTunes approve it. And with that, enjoy your next walk.